My name's Bernard Lee Singleton. My mother's Jabogai, which is the rainforest area of Barren River up into Crystal Cascades, and my father's Yurakanji, which is a saltwater Jabogai. So a saltwater clan of Jabogai, which runs along the coastal area from Cairns and the inlet up to Port Douglas or Mowbray River. A lot of our stories come out of Barren River, and a lot of my paintings are about stories that come out of Barren River and then up to the coast. I grew up in a lot of people refer to it as the Aboriginal community in Cape York, Cohen, 300 people. So stuff like this is actually, I can sort of find it close to home, especially with remote areas, Aboriginal communities and that. That's basically where I grew up. So in my painting, I use the Nyingara, that's the freshwater eels. I originally wanted to do the serpent in my head. That's what I pictured as a life cycle, because the serpent signifies the creation of the mountains and the river systems and the creeks. But I think the eels sort of came to me, sort of looked better on canvas when I started rather than the serpent, because the eel is more significant to this area, Jabogai, especially Barren River, my mum's country, and the eels signify when the young boys used to get initiated. They get the eel fat rubbed into a cut that was put into their chest as initiation. Then they get sick, and the old men used to heal them, look after them, and make them better. And when they become better after that cut, over a few days, over a week, that's when they come out of that ceremony as being a man. That's their initiation. So I think that was more relevant to what we were painting about rather than the rainbow serpent. Like I was able to do some of the double life cycles. I wanted to actually put them together, but the way I actually painted the eels, it left space beside, depending, because I might have been in a funny position when I was painting it, sort of squashed it over one side, but then when I look back, I sort of left a space on two of them, which when I looked at the information I was giving, there was two life cycles that actually had an extra part over to one side. So like I said, it fell into place, and that those two areas where I accidentally squashed up the eels, it gave me space to add those other two extra parts of the two life cycles that I needed. So like I said, it fell into place as I went along. It's important to me when I do a painting, especially if someone asks me to draw something, to try and get as much information as I can into my head, even if I don't remember it, as long as I'm sort of thinking about it, because like I said, as I go along, it sort of fell into place because I'm changing it as I go along, and then things just work out. Aboriginal painting and the parasites and their life cycles are all from nature, so they all go together. And for me to bring it from a diagram off a sheet that someone had researched and put information into an actual diagram of a internal life cycle and external life cycle, to bring it across to an Aboriginal painting went really easy. I had a rough idea as I started painting. I sort of chalked out a couple of ideas and then chalked out the rough outline of the life cycles and where they're going to go and which ones would fit in which part of the canvas properly. But then when it came to the figures, I tried to keep the inside of the internal life cycle inside the human body as close to the actual diagrams that I was looking at. It's really interesting, especially painting it and actually just having to go through the information as I was painting it, just to sort of work out the preventative stuff and how you get it. And I learned stuff too. So I tried to sort of find a sort of halfway point between the actual life cycles on the information sheets that I was given and my style of painting. So one of the styles of Aboriginal art was called like an X-ray, where you see the inside of animals, and a lot of Aboriginal people used to use those paintings as like a map of the inside of the animals to teach the kids which part to eat, which part not to eat. So it sort of came sort of naturally. A lot of the stuff that went into this painting sort of basically just fell into place. My style of painting sort of suited the information that I wanted to get across, because there was a lot of information overlaying a lot of the figures and animals, and the parasites help me sort of fit everything into the one canvas, because there was eight different life cycles overlaying parts of it. Meant that you could still see all the important parts of the cycle, even if they were covered up by parts of another animal or parasite. But when you stand back and look at it, you can still see all the separate life cycles on their own. Something like the head lice, and there you look at and you read a bit of the information and you start scratching your head, and that was funny. But yeah, I got stuff out of it as well. So on the life cycle between the parasites, I use just the simple spears or galkas, just to connect all the different parts of the life cycle. Just because in the middle of the cycle we use the figures of the humans, or bama, and yeah, hunting, gathering food was done with spears. So it's one of the main tools or weapons throughout all of Australia with Indigenous people. So I think it was a strong symbol to use as joining up all the different parts of the cycles. And then the feet and the hands basically at the end represent, that way I put in the middle of the canvas, basically represented the preventative washing your hands and wearing shoes, basically. Wanted to put that in the painting somehow. So the hands always in my paintings represent the people, and I use the two. Always use the black paint with my handprints at the end. It's like a signature that I use for my artwork. Use it in most of my canvases. The other handprints that I use that have that sort of spray effect that I get from just using the spray cans over a stencil, I get that from the cave paintings that you see all throughout Australia. Like the whole purpose was to educate people in the communities about these parasites. So if my painting sort of helps that or makes it easier for someone to understand, then yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to get across.